Hello everybody and welcome back. For anybody who missed my Newfoundland pirate accent saying TBR, you are in luck because we are going to be doing the January TBR right now. It has been a while since I put together a formal TBR for the channel or also just in my reading life. The last couple of months of the year, I didn't even put anything on the list. I just kind of read what I needed to get done and left it at that. But I am very excited to have a formal list back. I think having a TBR makes me excited for what I'm going to read that month. I really enjoy looking over the shelves and kind of picking out what I'm in the mood to read. So let's talk about the books that I have selected for the beginning of the year. I feel like January is always a really good reading month for me. I don't know, like just the beginning of the year makes me feel like I can accomplish a lot. January is a long month. January is a month where, at least if you live in Newfoundland, there's not a lot of things that are going on because the weather is usually pretty bad. And so there's lots of cozy reading time to be had. I do have a couple of books that carried over from December. So I guess I will do my Ultimate Shame book first because this is the book that I swore to myself that I would finish in 2023. It was like my number one goal. It's the only thing I had on the list for December. And if you watched my New Year's video, I said in that video that December was a terrible month. It was honestly one of the worst months of my entire life. And the fact that I was reading anything, I took as a win. And so I was not in the mood for finishing a series that I really loved because I thought that I would probably just hold the month against it and then not enjoy it as much, and also just like not in the mood for dense fantasy. So I did not get to read Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb, which made me really sad because it was kind of like my this is what I need to get finished in 2023 goal. It has started. Have not read a lot, but I am going to be reading it in January. So I'm feeling really good. I'm very excited to get reading, and I am going to read this book this month. And then I will be able to talk about the series at large. I will be able to have discussions and do some character analysis and all of the really fun stuff from Live Ship Traders because these books are really so rich. Isaac spilled a glass of water. You can tell that it's like all wrinkly down here. So it has dried with some character, but at least the words and stuff are not, there's nothing that is wrong with the book. It's just a little well loved now. But Ship of Destiny, number one priority in January. Similarly, I had one book that I was supposed to read with friends for December that I did not get finished. I do not have a copy of that one. I'm reading it on Kindle, but that is River of Stars by Guy Gavriel Kay, which is the second book in the duology that begins with Under Heaven. I loved Under Heaven. It was a 5-star book for me. I am really looking forward to River of Stars, which takes place in the same universe, but several hundred years in the future. So I'm interested to see if there's going to be any mentions of characters that we saw in the first book or how it's going to be linked together. But just overall, really looking forward to reading that because I am really enjoying my time with all of Guy Gavriel Kay's books so far. So those are two like pretty big fantasy books that are on the must-read list for January. And so even though January is usually a pretty solid reading month, I tried to give myself some books that I am A, really excited to read, and B, are a little bit shorter in order to get me through the month without falling behind on those obligations. So the first one is one that I actually picked up on audio, but I do have a physical copy as well. And that is The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. I put this on a 5-star predictions video way back at the beginning of 2023 because I watched this movie actually as a kid and really loved it. And when I was younger, I didn't know that it was a book. And then when I found out that it was a book, I picked it up and I have owned it for such a long time and have never gotten around to reading it. So when the Audible New Year's sale came up, so the 2 audiobooks for the price of one, or they had like a bunch of audiobooks on sale. This one was on sale and I was able to pick it up. So I'm going to listen to it on audio, maybe read a little bit as well, but that will be my audiobook for the month and I'm very excited. I have listened to 1 chapter so far just while getting ready this morning and it's been really, really good so far. So I am excited to continue on with that. Then I picked a book from 2023 that I really wanted to read but didn't get to read, and that one is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. There's a second book out in this series now, so I really want to read this first one because a bunch of people who know my reading tastes think that I will like it. I really love the cover. I liked the things that I had heard from other people. And if I like it, I want to be able to grab the second book in the series. So I would really like to read this one in January. It too is quite short. So I'm hoping that just because it's a lighter read, it's already short to begin with, this one won't take me much time to get through. So very much looking forward to this one, which is about, I think, a young woman who studies fairies and then meets a curmudgeonly young man when she's off on a research project, and I believe a romance starts between them. So looking forward to reading that one. I didn't really say what the Joy Luck Club was about, actually, but it's about families of Chinese women and their children. So the Chinese women who have immigrated to the United States and then their American-born Chinese children, and kind of like the cultural divide between parent and child, the history of the mothers of the family, and how that all comes together. At the beginning of the book, the main character's mom has just passed away, and she feels like she didn't really get to know her mom that well, and so she attends the Joy Luck Club, which is a club that her mom had set up with all of these friends. And as she's there, she starts to hear the stories of these women's families and then also stories about her mom. So I think that's going to be really, really good. The next one is a Christmas gift. So I got this from my sister for Christmas, and that is Iron Widow. There have been a few people that have told me that they think that I will really like this book. This is YA fantasy. I don't read a ton of YA fantasy anymore. I just did my reading stats for 2023 as I was putting together the end of my reading journal. And I read 3 YA fantasy books last year to the like 40 adult fantasy books that I read last year. So big discrepancy there, but every once in a while there is a YA fantasy that I really want to pick up, and this is one of them. I don't have a great handle on what this book is about either. I think it is based on an empress of China, an emperor of China. I can't remember if it is a gender-bent emperor or if it is an empress, but it is loosely based on Chinese history, and then I think there's also big mechs. So I think there's like fighting robots. I think there is a polyamorous relationship. I think that it is based in history. The author, I have watched some of her YouTube shorts. She has and some YouTube videos. She has some really fun videos about analyzing Mulan and like the historical, the history surrounding certain Disney adaptations and movies and popular culture. And I have really enjoyed those, so hopefully I will enjoy the book as well. But I'm looking forward to reading that one. The next one is also a Christmas gift. This one's just a graphic novel. So this one is called Magical Boy, which I read the first volume last year and talked about it just, I think, in a wrap up. Like, I didn't do any big giant talk about it on the channel, but I did really enjoy volume 1. This is about a trans boy who comes from a line of magical girls, and he is kind of pushing back against his destiny of being a magical girl. And then throughout the course of the first novel starts to embrace that destiny, but adapt it for his own personality and needs and wants. And the first one was really good. I really enjoyed the artwork. It was an own voices story. I thought that it was really fun. And this is the second volume. There's only 2, so this is the end of the story. And I am very much looking forward to reading this one. The art is really fun. And I love magical girls, and now magical boys, I guess. So that one will be a fun time, and will take I don't know, an hour probably to read. And the very last book on the list is God Killer by Hannah Kaner. So this was a pre-order that I had last year because it had been on my most anticipated fantasy releases of 2023. And I pre-ordered it, not realizing at the time that the UK release date, and the Canadian release date were very different. So this came out at the beginning of 2023 in the UK. I don't think it came out until November in Canada. Like, when it arrived, I was already into kind of Christmas season, not buying myself anything. I had given people a list of books, and this showed up in the mail, and I was like, whoa, why is this here? And I have forgotten that I pre-ordered it. So I have it. I heard some really good things about it. I know Elliot Brooks really liked this. She read it, I think, back at the beginning of the year. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. This is the beginning of a fantasy series, I think, and it has to do with gods who can come down to earth, and I believe someone in the book is a god killer, so someone who hunts gods. Yes, the main character makes a living killing gods and enjoys it, apparently, but I am looking forward to this one. I don't know a ton about it beyond that, very quick line, but I think that it is going to be fun. It is short. It is a 2023 release that I wanted to get to. So it kind of checks off a lot of the boxes that I had for the beginning of the year. Other than that, I don't know if there's anything else that will make it onto the list. I am halfway through the series 20th Century Boys, which is by the author who wrote Monster, which I read and loved and discussed with Jimmy at the Fantasy Network last year. And so I really want to get through the rest of 20th Century Boys. So I think if there are any gaps in my reading, or if there are days when I just feel really tired, I don't want to pick up a full book, but I want to be reading something, I will probably grab a volume or two of that manga, because I would really like to get through that and then go on to my next, whatever my next manga series is going to be. But that is it. That is my tentative TBR for January 2024. It's really exciting to put out the first TBR of the year. I would love to know what all of you are reading, what you're looking forward to getting to in January, and I will see you with another video soon. Bye!